All right, Team Rotary, it's game time. Because where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Let's go. Wrong song. But, oh, wow, you guys got really quiet. Welcome to Rotary today. We don't have any music. It's sad. That's why it's so... it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. That's why it's so quiet and Charlie was singing. So, today we want to thank our greeter. We had a soul greeter. He was awesome. That is one of your program co-chairs, Mr. Stephen Gustafson, who was with Heritage Bank. So thank you, Stephen, for doing that. And next up to
school, and in an effort to improve communications between with his graduate students, he had them do an exercise in which he asked them to, in a society where we don't spend thank you notes, send a thank you note to someone that deserved it in their life. And this is not the two-sentence, way to go on the 18th green, I saw that last chip, it was phenomenal, Bob. More than that. Something beyond that. So he had them send out some notes and then recorded eventually how people responded to these. I think these all could apply to us, so let me give you just a couple of snippets from what they said. To a former commander in Afghanistan, I remember vividly the first few days after your arrival at Bravo Company. You dragged your desk out of your office and into the company tactical area. I saw it as a symbol of your engagement with the men and women under your command. To a first grade English teacher, when we met, I was just a child from a small village in India. Stumbling over words, reverting to Hindi often. You, however, saw the potential where I saw only uncertainty. When my parents decided to move to a big city, I faced an entrance exam and a test, both done in English, a language still new to me. I remember the late afternoons you stayed back to test me, encourage me, and push me forward. To a college advisor who drove a student to an orientation, quote, it was an 8-hour drive, a round trip for you, in a single day, in pouring rain, and you were very pregnant. You even ensured I had a ride back the next day. And finally, to a violin teacher, this is my favorite. I apologize this note is late, much as I was for most of the orchestra rehearsals. I wanted to thank you for pretending to believe me when I said that I had actually practiced, and for never complaining when I didn't shower between the basketball games and the lessons. While I should have learned much more from you, your routines and patterns have taught me a discipline that has shaped every facet of my life. So the point being, I suspect in this room, all of us have people we know that we owe a thank you to. And it's not a bad idea if we consider at some point in the next week or month or before Christmas, sitting down for a few minutes and writing more than just 3 sentences, but a couple paragraphs, and explain why they mean so much to you. The responses of these people were phenomenal. One lady said, that I don't get this kind of help response regularly. I get thank yous for college applications, but that's it. I was so touched. I called my husband in and was crying. I'm not sure I have read anything that made me prouder, said another. And in caps, one said, you can't imagine how happy this email has made me. That was sent by email. And the last one said, God bless you. So if you're a little bit inspired by this mode of inspiration, get out some stationery and do something about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt. Okay, a few announcements. First of all, the backpack project is finished. We were at McClure yesterday. Yay. There might have been a few tears. I don't know who might have cried. If you saw the interview on KIMA, I got choked up. Last thing you ever want to do is ugly cry on TV, but I did that. Yes, I did. Anyway, it was fabulous. Can you guys just help me out here real quick? If you were involved in any way, organizing the supplies, assembling backpacks for our meeting that day, distributing them yesterday morning, praying for me that I wouldn't ugly cry on TV, can you stand up, please? So we can just give you all a round of applause. Thank you, team. And I just need to give a shout out to your community service co-chairs. Chase Powell, please stand up. I know you were here. I'm looking at you. Zeb Ruff. Okay, there's Chase. Zeb Leff is the other one. He could not be here today, and I'm telling you, these two rock stars. So lots of work. Thank you very much. Vocational scholarship applications, we did get a few more in this past week after I made the announcement last week. We could use some more. The deadline's tomorrow. The application must be emailed or postmarked by tomorrow. So if you know of someone who is already enrolled or someone who is planning to enroll at a vocational institution, please let them know about our vocational scholarships. They can find the application on yakimarotary.org under the Youth tab. Okay, as I announced last week, but we didn't have the flyers on the tables, and now we do. Southwest Rotary is doing a Generosity Feeds event. The information is on your table. It's on Saturday, September 13th. For those of you that did our Feed the 5,000 event, I don't remember how many years ago, it's a very similar process where they will be creating 10,000 meals in about 2 hours. So sign-up information is on the flyer for that. Next, the Program Committee and Racial Justice Committee would like to extend a special invitation to Latino and Hispanic members of the club to participate in Hispanic Heritage Month activities. The planning is going, it's going strong. I'm very excited. So if you are interested in helping in any way with that planning, you can reach out to Sai Ruiz, Lupita Carrillo, or Sonia Rodriguez-Trill, or myself. Get in touch with us. We'll get you on that planning committee. Okay, a few save the dates for your planning. A few save the dates, Saturday, September 20th, 10 a.m., Sunfair Parade. We're gonna make a splash. So we're doing it, and we're gonna walk the parade. There will be some vehicles. So for those of you that don't wanna walk, you cannot walk, whatever it is, we're gonna put you in a car and you can wave like a celebrity. Like, who wouldn't wanna do that? So that's the first one. The second one is Operation Harvest. Mark your calendars, that is Saturday, October 11th, okay? And there'll be more on that next week, I believe, yes, next week. Okay, whew. Next up, I have to introduce, this is exciting, our youth exchange student, your co-chair of the Youth Exchange Committee, Patty Graffey, and she is with the SELA Downtown Association. Patty.
Well, welcome. Today I'm honored to introduce our Rotary Youth Exchange student in this coming year, Mathieu Buska, but you can call him Matt because it's a little easier. He's from the Czech Republic. For those of you not familiar with Rotary's Youth Exchange Program, it's an international initiative that sends more than 7,000 students each year to live in countries they've never visited, often learning languages they've never spoken, and building relationships with families and communities they've never met. It's just a travel program for teens. It's a Rotary's own Building Ambassador program. It fosters lifelong friendships, cross-cultural understanding, and thousands of connections to ripple across the world. So this year, Matt will be spending his time in Yakima, forming these connections with his host families, and hopefully with many of you as well. Let me share a little bit about Matt. He comes from the small town of Pickering, located in the southern Bohemian region of the Czech Republic. It's a picturesque town of about 30,000 people with history that stretches over 1,500 years, so nothing like us. So as Matt describes his home country, it's a country with big hills, which is kind of like Yakima. And so he lives with his parents, his younger brother, but attends Aviation Lyceum boarding school nearly 300 kilometers away, commuting home on weekends. He loves drama club, debate club, mostly anything in aviation. His boarding school is an aviation for aviation students, where they build planes, fly planes, build and fly gliders, and he skydives. He's fluent in English, and he does know Spanish, but he's getting better. So Matt and his family are avid travelers, having visited more than 25 countries, from scuba diving in Egypt's Red Sea, exploring Italy, Spain, Malaysia, UK, and even New York. So what does he enjoy in his free time? In many ways, he's typical 17-year-old. He walks his dog, enjoys Indian food, he loves to ski, so any of you that are skiers, please remember that, and spending time with friends. But he also has some extraordinary interests. He builds scale models of World War II planes, is working on building an airplane, follows American politics, which we had a great discussion this morning, has won national literary competitions, and has a deep passion for history and geography. He is currently living with his host family, Jerry and Jessica Garcia, and we're grateful for their generosity in welcoming him into their home. Ideally, Matt will be with 3 different families this year. This program would not be possible without dedicated host families, so if you or someone you know would like to be one, let me or Jerry know. So really quick, raise your hand if you've ever hosted a kid. Look at that. So if you're curious how fun it is, I've hosted a couple myself. Talk to these people, because it's not hard, it's really fun, and it's a lifetime experience even for us as adults. So Matt, on behalf of the Rotary downtown Yakima, we warmly welcome you. We look forward to getting to know you, learning from you, and sharing this year together. We wish you a wonderful exchange experience.
Thank you.
So Matt has a special gift to present to Sherry Bissell, and I think we have one for her as well, for him as well.
I do.
Okay.
But wait, there's more. He's going to get this adorable little water bottle. And we just drafted him in Team Rotary, so he gets the sticker too.
Thank you.
All right. Love that. Welcome aboard, Matt. Okay, next up, I have Adrian Garner, who has a new Team Rotary member introduction. Adrian is doing some work right now for People for People. Adrian.
Well, thank you, President. Sherry and Club, I've missed you this summer. I inherited a job of working with children this summer, so I've been with all the teenagers. Trevor, I saw you in the house, so I had all your teenagers, and most of them went to work for Anthony. I've had a great summer. Got a little tan, went to the south to see my babies, and I'm glad I made it back home. So I'm going to introduce my friend here. He wrote something, but I wrote something too, which was very interesting. So don't get embarrassed, okay? Don't get embarrassed. I first met Eugene in passing in a meeting at the club. I mistook him for someone else, an embarrassing moment for me. The next time I saw him, he was at my home, in my living room, for the scholarship dinner. 2 interactions, right? Deja and Ms. Hugh were helping me with my hostess duties and quickly asked me who he was. When I went to look, it was a mistaken identity guy from Rotary. However, I was a little bit out of the loop and never had hosted a scholarship dinner before, so I didn't know what to expect. I just went with the flow. I thought it was for members only. Oh, I guess the joke was on me, right? Well, as the dinner was served, he came to share with us how he ended up in my home. And I always feel like the more the merrier. And for those of you who know me, I always tell you, just bring an empty stomach and a pair of tennis shoes so you can walk around. Not sure if he liked the Cajun green beans, the candied yams, or whatever else I had on the table that night. I know there was catfish, homemade macaroni and cheese, and peach cobbler for dessert. So those of you who did not come, you missed out. Let's see, I lost my place. We probably we had a great time for those who were there, and we probably could have stayed a little bit longer. However, our supervisor, Ms. Seeley, said it was time to go. Later, I had the opportunity to extend an invitation to Juneteenth activities. There he found how inclusive and diverse our community truly is, and even some of you were there. He may have learned a little bit more than he bargained for with many of our elders, but he was kind, patient, and that was enough to let me know he was exactly the type of person that we needed in our club. Much of his life, Eugene has been spent chasing opportunity. After several years as a general manager in the food industry, he transitioned into insurance and is licensed in the areas of property, casualty, life, and health. Having lived in over 8 cities across the Puget Sound in eastern Washington, part of the states, each move deepened in his appreciation for people and landscapes and diversity. That's what he says has made this state so unique and special. Eugene is passionate about supporting the agricultural community, which is the backbone of our country. As his career shifted, it allowed him to apply his skills in relationship building and customer service to focus on farm, ranch, and commercial coverage. Having been born and raised in Washington, he is focused on building a lasting future, including one day owning his own farm in Yakima. With his strong farming roots, it is a perfect place to continue his journey and call Yakima home. His hope by joining Rotary feels like the natural next step to establish his roots, build connections, and serve. It is my honor to introduce our newest member, Eugene Vigil.
Yes. Welcome, Eugene. I have a few things for you, and don't go anywhere because I have something for Adrian, too. So, Adrian, for you, I have the sponsor pin. So, thank you. All right, Eugene. Oh, no. Okay, are you ready? Okay. Here is the red badge. You'll be receiving information on how to get your blue badge. That means you're still a rookie. That's what that means. Okay. Here's the Team Rotary playbook. Okay, so you just have to study that, know all the plays. It's got everybody you need in there. Here's your plaque to hang on your wall very proudly, and the infamous license plate frame. That means you have to drive really good. That's what that means. Welcome to the team. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, for a quick announcement about the Rotary Picnic, I'm going to call up one of the co-chairs for the Social Sports Committee, who are now calling themselves Special Teams, just so you know, they called themselves that. I have Andy Hochleitner. I did it. You did it. Yes. Andy is with Central Washington Home Builders.
Good job. Yes, I have that wonderful last name that is challenging to say. Hochleitner, you did a great job, Sherry. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for allowing me this quick opportunity. I am on the Social Special Teams Committee, and we are excited to share with you all the upcoming picnic. It's going to be September 18th. Whoever's closest to the flyer, there should be one on every page. Thank you, Charlie. If you can start passing it around. I hope you all go. It's going to be at Cowichee Brewery, and of course my phone decided to just stop looking at me. Okay, there we go. So, Cowichee Creek Brewing, I unfortunately have never been there. I know. And I was so looking forward to go to our meeting. We had an on-site committee meeting last week, and just life happened, and so I couldn't go. So still have not been, and unfortunately don't get to go again this year because it's the same night as other work stuff. Anyways, you should all go for me and tell me how much fun it all is. But I am working diligently with our team to build this opportunity all for you, so have fun for me. We're expecting well over 100 people. And so there's going to be cookies, there's tacos, taco bar, I believe it is. We have cornhole for the kids. Bring your littles. If you have grandkids, bring them. Again, September 18th, that's a Thursday, 5 to 7. Do we have a Rotary meeting before that? No. Okay, so, all right, good to know. And Doug Rich, thank you so much. You are going to be our entertainment for the evening. And we have some other really cool, fun things that we're working on, but this is just the kickoff to special teams.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, it's time for Sergeant at Arms. Oh, that's right. I knew that. Sorry. That is my bad, Gary. We have a special presentation. So I'm welcoming Gary Lackey to the podium for that, and Gary's with Edward Jones.
Thank you.
See, I swear I had you on
I
there.
know, I thought. Thank you. I'm very excited to award the Yakima Rotary Bridge Trophy this year to the Bridge Master Champions. But before I do that, I'd like to thank a few people. First, everyone that participated. I think we had a lot of fun. There was a lot of good fellowship, and hopefully someone will pick it up and take it in the future from here. Secondly, I'd like to thank all of the hosts, Charlie, who hosted the opening kickoff, Russ and Nancy Mazzola, Carter and Linda Feld, and Dana Joinell, all hosts. Thank you so much. We appreciated your fellowship and hosting. That was very gracious of you. And finally, to award the Master Champions this incredible trophy. Now, this is the 65th year of this trophy. And to have your name on this trophy is pretty incredible. My name is not on this trophy. I tried to revive Rotary Bridge. I thought this was my chance. It didn't happen. But the people that won it actually won the 48th year, which was 2008. So it's not a fluke. They are master champions. So please help me congratulate the 2025 Rotary Master Champions, Carter and Linda Feld.
She's hiding. Very nice. I'm so glad he spoke up, because I did have him on my agenda. I did. It just got lost in me focusing on Andy's name. So thank you, Gary, and congratulations, Carter. Okay, now I think we're ready, unless anyone else says, wait. No? Okay. Time for Sergeant at Arms with Bob Romero. Bob Romero is with the YMCA.
Okay. It might not be on. We'll wait just a second. As you know, I sometimes like to get up here and do little things about history, and today is a big day in history. If you are not aware, it is the 62nd anniversary of the I Have a Dream speech, which was actually the March on Washington, D.C., and going back to 1963. So With that, it was the 8th anniversary of the murder of Emmett Till. If you're not familiar with that, read up on it. It's a very interesting story. March in Washington, D.C. drew 250,000 people, and Dr. King neared the end of his 7-minute time limit. The speakers had a 7-minute time limit. When someone near him encouraged him to ignore what his advisors had told him, and with this urging said, "Tell them about the dream, Martin." So, and as again, I'll ask questions, honor system. If you don't get the answer, pay $1. So who inspired 9 of the most powerful minutes in American history by saying that to Martin Luther King? Was it the Reverend Ralph Abernathy, Mahalia Jackson, Daisy Bates? Hit the right arrow, Bob. There we go. Philip Randolph or John Lewis? The answer is number 2. It was Mahalia Jackson, the Queen of Gospel, who sang before Dr. King spoke. He advised her what song to sing, and she advised him what to talk about because she had heard him speak before in smaller groups about the dream. And so she actually inspired a great historical speech. Dr. King his inspired speech, "I Have a Dream," included references to which of the following? Gettysburg Address, Emancipation Proclamation, Declaration of Independence, U.S. Constitution, Shakespeare's Richard III, Bible verses from Psalms and Isaiah, or number 7, all of the above? And the answer is all of the above. Interesting thing to read about, too, about how those things are all incorporated. So if you didn't get that right, number 7, pay $1. Now, the following events also took place on August 28th as a day in history. In 1968, Democratic National Convention, protests with Vietnam War protesters outside in Chicago. Chuck and Di were divorced on this day. Britney Spears and Madonna kissed during the Video Music Awards. And in 476, the fall of the Western Roman Empire was completed as Emperor Romulus Augustulus was deposed. That's actually not him, but if you don't know the name of that character, or you recall any of those events in history, pay $1. Now, speaking of history going on around us, we're in the midst of baseball history thanks to Mariner catcher Cal Raleigh. He set the single-season record for home runs by a catcher already. Which of these 2 single-season records could he still reach? Most homers in a major league season, most runs batted in by a catcher, most home runs by a switch hitter, most home runs by a Mariner, fewest strikeouts by a Mariner, or most stolen bases by a catcher? Which of those records does he still have a shot to break in these final 28 games of the year? The answer is number 3 and 4. Mickey Mantle hit 54 homers as a switch hitter. Cal Raleigh's currently at 50. And most home runs by a Mariner, that record is 56, held by Ken Griffey Jr., who did it twice. Okay, Raleigh has gained attention this year with his home run exploits, but also his nickname, the Big Dumper. And who gave him that nickname? Was it Logan Gilbert, Dan Wilson, Brian Wu, Jared Kelnick, J.P. Crawford, Gino Suarez, or his sponsors at Honey Bucket? Actually, the sponsorship came later, but the correct answer is Jared Kelnick. And in fact, if you know anything about Jared Kelnick, it's probably going to be his greatest achievement in Major League Baseball ever. Mariners are 72-62. They hold the third wild card currently, and they're just a game and a half out of first place in the AL West. Last year, they missed the playoffs by a game. And so what was their 2024 record after 134 games? How do they compare to a year ago? Did they have the same record last year? Were they 4 fewer wins? Were they 2 fewer wins? 6 fewer wins? Were they a game better a year ago? Or were they actually 84-50 and then lost the rest of their games? The correct answer is number 2. They were 68-66, so they're actually 4 games ahead of the pace they were on a year ago. So there you go, a little history going back in time and a little current history happening around you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. appreciate it. Okay, now to introduce our speaker, Mr. Charlie Robin, one of your program co-chairs, and Charlie is with the Capitol Theater. Charlie.
Thank you very much, President. Today's topic is health partnerships in the Yakima community, and we are very thrilled to welcome both Dr. Geoff Jones and Dr. Robin Pickering to join us. I have already gotten the full spiel. I understand who they are as artists, as musicians. They are not going to talk about that today. You can ask them about that in private. They're just freaking out over here now, right? But Dr. Geoff Jones is the Assistant Clinical Dean at University of Washington School of Medicine and with oversight over Spokane and Eastern Washington. And Dr. Robin Pickering is Chair and Professor of Public Health, Gonzaga, is that how you say that, Gonzaga? Okay, University, I know, I'm not from here. Anyway, their full bios are included in the tutor, and I highly encourage you to always review the tutor. Thank you, Karen, and for all the work. And but a few highlights to share. Dr. Jones is a graduate of Washington University, University of Washington School of Medicine. He was named the Washington State Family Physician of the Year in 2016 by the Washington Academy of Family Physicians. Dr. Pickering has served on a variety of community boards related to promoting community health in the Spokane area. She owns a consulting business aimed at advancing a positive and resilient workplace culture that through system change and policy development. And what I think is very cool, she hosts a podcast called A Closer Look, which highlights experts and research related to current health issues. I will have them, in whatever order they choose to come on up and share with us on health partnerships in the Yakima community.
A little hard to see the screen in the slides, but hopefully we don't have a lot of them and we'll just kind of talk. So I'm Geoff Jones. I'm a family physician by training. As a E92 Pullman whammy is how we describe folks at the University of Washington School of Medicine. So I started in med school in '92 in Pullman and then went to UW and then throughout the region. I trained in Spokane for my family medicine residency. After that, we looked at jobs. My wife's also a family doc. We looked at jobs in Ellensburg. We looked at jobs in Yakima, and we took jobs in Bethel, Alaska, and worked there for a few years, and then moved back to Newport, Washington. I love asking people if they know where Newport is. Does everybody here know where? All right, we got some. It is not on the coast, not that Newport. So yeah, I'm a rural family doc there. My job with the UW is as the assistant clinical dean, meaning I'm over a lot of different things, but mostly my job is to develop and support clinical training for Eastern and Central Washington. We have several really good rotations here currently for our required rotations in Yakima. We partner with Multicare Memorial Hospital here. We partner with Generations OB and the neurology practice in town, as well as the Central Washington Family Medicine residency in Yakima and Ellensburg. Okay, I'm gonna try here to advance it. That did not work, did it? Let me try the other one. Do I got to turn it on or something? Did you turn it on? No, I did not turn it on. He turned this part. It's his fault. Ha! Oh, it's my fault. No, you should blame me. It's okay. All right. Yeah, like computers and technology are not my friends today. That's for sure. All right. So what we're trying to do is that we feel we are better together. So like 10 years ago, as the University of Washington was kind of reforming in Eastern Washington, our partnership with WSU and Pullman and then Spokane was disintegrating as they were moving on to their own med school. So we were like, well, what should we do? And we thought it would be best to partner with another institution. And when I first heard like some of the big deans say things like, yeah, we'll partner with Gonzaga, I was like, that's gonna work. Because we think we're better together. And that working together, we can provide a better training environment for our students and for Gonzaga Public Health and for the region than we could separately. So that is our thought. It's very unique because it's a public-private partnership, Gonzaga being a private Jesuit university, UW being a public university. But you look at the two mission statements and they're the same. Like one's in secular language, one's in religious language, but it's the same. It's all about service, it's all about partnership, and it's all about community. And so, yeah, and so we've been together 10 years. We're expanding our roles and what we offer together. And I think it's going really well. It's enjoyable working with another institution that has a huge service commitment, as Gonzaga does. And again, it's why we also like talking to the Rotary Club. Like, this has been a rough week for me. It's been very busy, overscheduled as usual. And but then coming here, you're like, oh, the vibes are really good. The lunch is fantastic. I'm sure those desserts are great, although, yeah, hopefully there'll be some left. It looks good. But yeah, the vibes are good, and the commitment to service and community, it's real. So thanks for having us. So again, this is it's hard to read there, but this is our kind of timeline a little bit. So in 2008, we had 20 students in the University of Washington Spokane. So traditionally, students in the UW, yeah, maybe I'll walk around some. Yes, thank you. So traditionally, with the University of Washington, like me, we spent our first year at our regional partner campus, and then all throughout, Seattle, and all throughout what we call the WWAMI region: Washington, Wyoming, Alaska, Montana, Idaho. But in 2008, we pioneered having all of our foundations phase, or all of our preclinical students in Spokane. That never been done before in the UW history, so we did it there. And then we expanded to 40 students. Then we kind of launched our new curriculum in 2016. The formal partnership was formed in 2016. And then now, this year, our big thing is the RIDE program, the Regional Initiatives in Dental Education, is going to be housed in our big white building. If you drive through Spokane on the freeway, it's just off to the left, right by Gonzaga campus. Yeah, and so that's huge. That's our timeline and what we've been trying to do. A lot of people also think that the University of Washington is just Seattle or just Spokane, and this is a little bit, no, this is this year's map of our clinical training sites for Washington. So again, we think of ourselves as WWAMI, Washington, Wyoming, Alaska, Montana, Idaho, as we have clinical training sites in all of those states and agreements with them. These are our clinical training sites in Eastern Washington and Washington as a whole. And if you look, there's our required sites. I don't think we put our elective sites on there because there's just too darn many of them. But you can see, yeah, we have a really neat rotation and well received here in Yakima, both OB with Carly and then with the internal medicine and then neurology here. The other thing I think people don't realize is where our graduates are. Yeah, we have a huge deficiency of physicians in everywhere, especially primary care, but it's not just primary care. And people think like, oh, docs from the UW are just in Seattle or maybe in Spokane. Pend County does have a few of us up there, but this is where our graduates ended up in 2019. I need to update the map, but it's, like I said, I'm always a little bit overscheduled and a little bit overwhelmed. But it's not worse, that's for sure. So our graduates are throughout Eastern Washington, and we need more. And then if you look at, we call this our return rate, like where are they by city, not just by county? We have quite a few, yeah, just about everywhere. It's kind of neat, actually, today talking with our docs here that run our clerkships here. They feel very tightly connected to the University of Washington School of Medicine and the departments. Most of them actually trained in a University of Washington affiliated residency. After med, you all probably know this, after med school, you got to do like a 3 to 5 to 7 year residency in your specialty. Family medicine's 3 years, internal medicine's 3 years, OB's 4, surgery can be 7, kind of depends on what you end up doing. But yeah, but here, they're definitely pretty tied to, like, they wanted to be here in Yakima, and they are working here in Yakima, and they're doing great work for us. So, and this is like kind of a summary of the programs we've got developed at the UW-GU Health Partnership. So I just want to emphasize the School of Public Health at GU is really doing some good work too. And then RIDE is interesting to me. My mom was a dental hygienist. She retired maybe probably just about 15 years ago. But so disparities in oral health care are also kind of near and dear to my heart, and we need drastically more healthcare practitioners in every field, including dental hygienists, including dentists, not just family docs, not just public health, but pretty much everybody. And so I love the work that a lot of the community colleges in the center of the state here are doing in terms of dental hygiene education. And I think with RIDE coming over, it's just going to get better and stronger. And I think that is where I hand this off to Robin and stop talking.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. So I'm sure you've already heard a lot about the School of Health Sciences at Gonzaga. Did you also know we have a basketball team? lesser known in the community, but I always like to share that just in case you want some background. Yes, I am Robin Pickering, so I'm chair of public health. And in the School of Health Sciences, just in case you haven't heard of it, we have nursing, public health, and human physiology. And usually people know what the nursing is all about, but I always like to use a bit of an analogy to talk about the work that we do. And to do that, I have to know who in the room is the strongest swimmer. I won't make you do it.
No one's volunteering.
I can tell this is a tight group and you know, don't be shy. Are you nominating someone or you are the strongest swimmer in the room? Okay, tell me your name. And she's got the flair too, I love it. Tell me your name. Amanda, okay. Tell me a bridge over a body of water here that people would know. Red Bridge? Redmond Bridge. Okay. So, I want you to imagine this. So, Amanda, are you also a runner? No, Amanda's walking along. She sees a person in the water fighting for their life. It gets better here in a second. Fighting for their life, desperately needing to be saved. Amanda, knowing that she is a very strong swimmer, courageously jumps in the water, rescues this poor person, pulls them to the side, up on the shore, immediately goes into CPR. You know CPR? Excellent. Breaks a couple ribs. Yes, thank you, from the physician. And yeah,
That's exactly right.
courageously saves this person, only to spot out of the corner of her eye another person desperately flailing, needing help. So she gathers herself and her last bit of energy she has left, heroically dives in, saves the person, only to what? See another person. So she thinks, how could this possibly be? This is mathematically impossible. Looks up, sees that the Redmond Bridge is in desperate need of repair. That's probably not true. I'm sure that you fund that very well. But sees that this bridge actually has a hole in it and people are falling through. Now, in the public health world, we look up at the bridge often and see what policies, what systems are in place that are creating these health problems. So maybe it's diabetes, maybe it's obesity, maybe it's any chronic condition, any of these things that we face in terms of public health problems. But we need folks doing the CPR. We need folks saving people downstream. We need people like Dr. Geoff Jones treating patients. But at a certain point, as you mentioned, doctors get very, very tired of treatment downstream. And at a certain point, we start to overwork our clinical folks, and we start realizing, ooh, if we're going to make some long-term changes, we have to look up at the bridge. look at the systems that are contributing to the downstream problems. And in public health, we like to think we're pretty good at that. Nursing and education and health educators and people that help to improve systems, we're all about that. And UW School of Medicine is doing amazing stuff in that downstream space and also in upstream spaces as well. But much like you all do in Rotary, we really believe that collectively we can make much more of a change and a lasting difference if we work collectively as a team. And so for the last 10 years, we've been working on doing that in this really cool partnership. And what is the partnership? It's essentially us, and we get to be in the same building together. We both have access to tickets to that basketball game I was telling y'all about. So that's a pretty cool fringe benefit. But also, we get a chance to work upstream and downstream, tackling the problems in our community. So for example, and in our region, we have a team of researchers who are medical students partnered with our human physiology undergrads in our McKinstry Research Lab, working on studying Parkinson's disease, looking at treatment strategies, treatment innovation, how to improve mobility. In regions like this, where there are many who have had lifetime exposures to pesticides and other things, we know that we have concentrated rates of Parkinson's. So not only can we work together for this really cool partnership, but we can also tackle some of the problems that we see in our region. Additionally, we have a joint hire, so one of the faculty in my department works part of her time in the Gonzaga Public Health Department, the other part of her time in the med school, and she's got some med students doing their research and some of my undergraduate students working together in Grand Coulee, looking at the co-occurrence of mental health conditions and other chronic conditions and looking at how that impacts emergency room visits and how do we maybe improve that system and utilization of our healthcare resources. So we like to kind of take our show on the road, and Rotary is always my most favorite because the energy in this room, first of all, Charlie, hey, he's the first one we met, and he had so much presence that it just kind of draws you in. I can see why you have such big membership. We love talking to communities and hearing about what your needs are, also telling you about us and what we're doing. And so we really appreciate being here, and we hope that we can learn more about Yakima and continue to serve our region in a way that's really comprehensive, working both upstream and downstream. So thank you. Anything else that you wanted to say?
I can get closer here. Nothing, just to add again, like we really strongly value partnering with our communities, with each other, with our communities. We think we can do more working together than any of us can separately. And so we're continuing to try to do that. Happy to answer questions. Yes, please.
Back there.
So the University of Washington School of Medicine, Laramie region, graduates about 270 per year. In Washington State residents, there's 160 per year, 165 per year. So if that's just University of Washington, if you include PNWU and ESF College of Medicine with WSU, have to add it up here. 140, about 300 total. So 140 between those two schools, 160 at ours.
And how many students or doctors
Yeah, how many residency slots do we have? Yeah, I don't know. I can get that back to you. Okay.
So it's 92.
Okay.
So we wonder why we don't have enough doctors staying in the area, or it's a funnel thing. Like,
Yep.
really hard, 92 is that thing.
Yeah, yep. And it's where it's, as we know, like in looking specifically at rural practice and residency, so again, being a family doc, I know most about family medicine training. And with family medicine training, if you do 2 months a year in a rural site, you have a higher likelihood of returning to rural practice. And that definitely was me and my wife. Like, I spent a month in Goldendale and I spent a month in Ellensburg. And yeah, and there's no way we'd work in a big city. So, yeah, what can we do to solve it? I think we have to focus on our spheres of influence and our spheres of control. Our spheres of control, I think, are advocating at the local level for the hospitals and organizations to increase their residency slots. Right now, the vast majority of residencies are funded by Medicare, and each hospital, once they say, yep, this is our cap with residencies, we'll take this many and not anymore. If they take more than that, then they have to find additional funding, such as like the teaching health centers or community health center fundings. Unfortunately, that's also only for primary care and internal medicine, and so, but we need much more than that. I mean, yeah, I kind of am a fan of primary care, right? Being a family doc, I think it's the best job out there, and I think it's most impactful and most challenging, but I can't do it alone. So we need surgeons, we need neurosurgeons. You know, I used to joke that in Spokane, like, we sure don't need any cardiologists, but that's not true anymore. You know, right now it's about a 6-month wait to even see cardiology. So we need all of us. We need all of us. I think there's a question over here, and then, oh, right there, go ahead, you have the mic.
You mentioned research in Parkinson's in this area, or the state. Have you also done some analysis related to workers at Hanford in that area?
Certainly not personally, but there has been a lot of research looking at that population, particularly as it relates to cancer cases and cancer clusters. So yeah, that is certainly a potential area where it would be great to partner on research in that.
Yeah, thyroid too, yeah.
Specifically to Parkinson's, we have active research going on right now. We have a group of undergrad students and a group of medical students that have year-round research going on, several different study lines in that area, mostly looking at treatment strategies and innovations and modalities to increase what's the word I'm looking for? Mobility.
Yeah. All right. Did that answer your question? Okay.
And looking at the state, and before students get into medical school, and you're looking at the needs around the state, and you have these college students with 4-year degrees, what really is the consideration to help fill the gap, to help close that gap, so we can keep these students that have already graduated with their undergrad in a medical school, so these folks, these very talented individuals, can stay in the communities that we need the help the most?
Yeah, it's a great question, and what we focus on a lot in our admissions process. I cannot speak to other medical schools' admissions process. I do know that we are very mission aligned, is the phrase we use. So with the UW, our mission is to promote the healthcare of the region with a specific focus on primary care in rural underserved areas. And we know that, like you said, folks that grew up in the communities that are rural and underserved tend to go back there and tend to make better doctors. And so, but it's a holistic process. So like for the UW, it's not just your grade, what we call your metrics, so your grades, your GPA, your test scores, all that stuff. Yeah, it's nice, but really what we need is good people that can communicate well and understand the communities that they want to serve. So yeah, we absolutely focus on that. And for the UW, like, we only take students from in-state. I mean, I have never, I've been involved in missions for like, what, 13, 14 years. I've never seen an out-of-region applicant get in, outside of our MD PhD program, I guess, yeah.
I'll say another way, or another, I guess, challenge that we are seeing as well is there are recent policy changes that make financial aid a little more difficult. And a little is probably way understating, but also housing, the availability of housing. Students are often really strapped for resources, and so being able to live in a place that they can afford and also get student loans and financial aid, those can create real equity barriers for some. And so when we think about what can we do to address this from an upstream perspective, supporting policies that make education accessible.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Your mission sounds very similar to what we have heard to be the mission for PNWU. Is PNWU just like a direct competitor of you guys, or is there some measure of collaboration, understanding it's a osteopathic medicine versus, traditional medicine, but how do the two entities work together, if at all?
Yeah, so you're right, it's a separate governing board with PNWU. So it's the DO schools have a separate governing body, like we are beholden to the LCME, Liaison Committee on Medical Education. From a clinical perspective, do we compete for students? Sure, I mean, absolutely. But most people that apply to the UW that I talk to, I also certainly strongly encourage them to be applying to other medical schools too, as we only have a certain number of seats each year. We collaborate really well with PNWU and with ESF-COM for WSU College of Medicine in the clinical realm. So the clinical deans for those schools, and for Central Washington, we meet quarterly, usually hosted by KVH in Ellensburg. But we've started to chat about maybe hosting it elsewhere. But we meet quarterly just to discuss what we're doing, needs of the communities, what we can do better. We've started to do that in Spokane as well, as I assume the role of the Spokane clinical dean. So yeah, we work together because to some degree, we're all doing the same thing. I mean, there's a huge need. Yes, there's residency shortages, but we're all playing together. And we really think that we're stronger together than competing. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah.
Hi there. Not a question, but a quick comment or thank you. My name is Peter Finch. I'm the superintendent of the West Valley School District, so I'm working on the supply chain. And just want everyone to know that University of Washington has a summer program for juniors and seniors in high school. It's called UDoc. We had a student from West Valley complete UDoc last summer of 2024. Came back so excited about healthcare careers, and just really appreciate your investment in the young people of our community, because they're going to be the future doctors.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Going to be better than us. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both for being here. They can stick around if you all have any more questions. We appreciate you being here and all that great information. I'm going to buy a yellow flag so Carolyn can be my referee and throw a yellow flag when I screw up. Just saying. So do we have any guests here today? Can you please stand so we can acknowledge you? I'm the worst. I am off today. Thank you. So you really are our MVPs. You really are. I'm Sherry Bissell, by the way. I am very honored to be the 107th president of this club and the 5th woman president. We welcome you to be a part of Team Rotary. We will draft you in a minute, okay? So take a little blue card that's on the table, and I will be buying Carolyn a yellow flag so she can throw it at me. Play of the day real quick. My play of the day today is no leader can build a great team without trust. We are all leaders in Team Rotary. We are all leaders. We are all leaders in this community. And in many ways, this community trusts us because Rotary will what? We will do good. We will be the good in this community. So keep that in mind. Next week we are here. We have a panel discussion on the Women's 1913 Suffrage Movement. That will be with staff from the Tony Award-winning Suffs the Musical. For our September 11th meeting, it is on Thursday, 9/11. 9/11, of course, a day we will never forget, a very tragic day. We will be at YDC, first of all, so don't forget that. Carolyn will send a reminder. We will have retired Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Yantis. Ryan is a 9/11 Pentagon attack victim, survivor, actually. He was a victim, he was a survivor. He is amazing. I've been talking to him for over a year. He is very decorated for his actions for that day, and he will be telling that story, so you don't want to miss that. Of course, then the picnic on September 18th. Bring guests to this team. Bring guests. We have something for everybody. Don't forget that. Did I forget anything? You don't have the yellow flag yet. Jim Berg has his hand up, makes me nervous. I'm just kidding. No one told me we do, but we do. Okay, nobody told me. Dara Blue. We have a Rotary Foundation meeting after this. I knew that. That's how many penalties today for me? 3, 4. Now what else, really? Vocational scholarship, okay, and vocational scholarships too. That's 4 penalty flags. If y'all are counting, it's okay, you can keep tabs, it's fine. Penalties happen. Game over now, or am I good? Okay, and with that, thanks for hanging in with me. Game over.